Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Bhagavad Gita today, chapter 7, text 27. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Please repeat after me from chapter 7, text 27. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O scion of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arisen from desire and hate. Please repeat. O scion of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arisen from desire and hate. Purport: the real constitutional position of the living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from this pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand that Lord Sri Krishna appears by his internal potencies. But those who are deluded by duality and the science think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc., thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of this house, I am the husband of his wife. These are the dualities of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani samoham Sargayanti Parantapa. From chapter 7, which is called Knowledge of the Absolute. What happens in this material world and what does not happen similarly in the spiritual realm. Absolute and relative, two existences are described in the 7th chapter. Krishna is the absolute truth, the supreme personality, and opposite to that in this material world, there are so many living entities who are separated from Krishna. And they are in a relative truth, which we accept as truth. And in that relative world, you are born, you die. You come to birth, and then you die. It is not that it is not true, but it is very temporary. Between birth and death is some reality for you. After that, all the reality crashes because you die. Then everybody else whom you are related with, they also die. Your relationship dies, other people die, you die. Again, you're born. Again, you make relationships. Again, you die. Again, they also die. So, temporary life and temporary truth, relative truth. In this way, you are ragged up and down again and again, again and again. But actually, you are a spirit soul. You are eternal. You are a part and parcel of the supreme absolute truth, Krishna. So, the Bhagavad Gita tells us that you have opted for this condition. You have wanted to be in this relative condition, although you belong to the absolute. So, in order to accommodate a portion of the absolute in the illusion, in the relative world, you have to become illusion. You have to be put into illusion. And our entire existence, all the time we think this is permanent, this is permanent. This is my husband, this is my wife, this is my house. I will live here forever. And this person is my enemy. This person is my friend. This is tall, this is short, this is black, this is white, this is one, this is two. Life is made up of binary distinctions, good, bad. So this is called a relative world. But there is a world above this, beyond the binary, beyond the duality, beyond the dvandva moha, transcending all this. There is no good and bad. Actually, in this world, everything is bad. Why? Because it's temporary. It's not permanent. You cannot take it seriously. The spiritual world, the world of the absolute, that is where everything is permanent. That is where you belong. That is where you need to take things seriously. So while you are in the temporary, you are asked to aspire for the absolute. That is what is spiritual life. Spiritual life is required because we have lost connection. We are drowned in the material, temporary situation. Actually, many of these things are not true because they are not permanent. My relationship with my father and mother is not permanent. My relationship with my husband and wife is not permanent. My relationship with my employer is not permanent, that I already know now. Many people have been thrown out of their jobs, especially the IT firms have sent everybody home. All the time they were telling, we are all one family, we are together, our vision and mission, everybody should share. All of you wear this tag on your neck. We are all looking after each other. And suddenly when the profits go down, they get out. You're out. Why? There is no meaning in calling you family because I don't have money. Or rather, I'm getting too less money. You get out. Who will look after me? I don't care. I don't know. This is duality. Love and hate. Immediately, as soon as I don't get some profit, I have nothing to do with you. I have nothing to do with you. So you don't know who will turn this way or that way. You never know. And now on top of that, in the relative world, we have ChatGPT. People are all completely aghast at a new development that better than Google. Earlier they were saying Google is God. Because any question you answer, Google will answer you immediately. But God takes so long time here. I put 300 rupees in the hundi, I gave 2 coconuts, I went pradakshana, everything. Till day, no answer has come. But look at Google, type one, fatak, it comes to me. Maybe wrong answer, but at least. And then they had Church of Google. They had people who had church called Google, Church of Google, and they had so many followers also. I worship Google. Google I Namaha. Now, Arey, Google ka God hai. It's not that Google is God. Google's God has come now. Greater than Google. ChatGPT. Better than Google. Better than Google. Everybody is leaving Google and going for ChatGPT. Any question you ask, they'll tell you. Now you can make money with ChatGPT. No more need to be an IT person. You don't need that. You learn how to use ChatGPT. New world is opening for you. So for the past 3-4 months, this has been going on. I've been just watching many people talking to me. I really think this duality has reached another height. Few days back, one of the devotees, Maharaj, see Bhagavad Gita in ChatGPT. Can you put off this fan, please? Can you please put off this fan? Catching a cold. Bhagavad Gita, ChatGPT, any question you ask, Krishna is answering. It says, Krishna, tell me what question you have. I will answer you. Krishna is answering. So I asked some questions and they gave wrong answer. I asked 1, 2, 3 questions and then I got answer. Then I asked that, you see, who is Prabhupada, you know, Krishna? And it answered that Prabhupada is the founder of the International Society. I was very surprised. International Society for Krishna Consciousness, this, that, everything. He set up the movement and he spread pure devotion to the Lord. Wow. And this is not a ISKCON ChatGPT. Somebody said GPT. I thought, very good. Then I asked, you must be knowing who is Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya appeared in the 16th century. He preached love of God. He is, Harinama Sankirtana. I said, oh, great. But I think you made a mistake. Not 16th century, it's 15th century. It's 1486 years. Oh, you are right. That was a mistake. It is actually 15th century. It is replying back to me. I asked the question, Krishna, how did you make mistake? You are God. You know everything. How did you make mistake? I make mistakes to make my followers become more devoted to me. So amazing. So you don't know, this Dvandva Moha has reached another level, another great level. It was amazing to watch that people are putting their faith. I will render all sorts of services for you. It can do coding, it can set right this, it can, word a rap song, sing, put lyrics for you and whatnot. So definitely there's a big revolutionary change going to happen in terms of the way we will function. But whatever it is, in the end, you will die. In the end, you will die. Everybody will die. And maybe some other developments also will happen. But certain things in this world always remain relative. They never become absolute. Like ChatGPT can never become God, no doubt about it. Is not a conscious personality. I will not, it will only function on the basis of what data you have fed into it, what algorithms you have, powered it with. It's dependent reality, dependent on the human being. And you are again dependent on a relative world, on a relative reality. So whatever great discoveries are made, whatever great advancements are made in technology, they are nice for the material realm. But it is in a world of illusion. It's in a world of the temporary, because in the end, you die. Real question a person should ask is, why do I die? Why do I die? I have the desire to live eternally, but I am inside a temporary body which I see dying in front of me. It's very pathetic. We all have the desire to live forever, enjoy forever, and do many things, but everything comes to an end. Everything comes to an end. This is the meaning of the relative world. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita tells us, actually this is illusion, this end. You don't die. Natva evaham jatunasham natvam neme janadipa nachaiva bhavishyavah sarvevayam ataparam. There is never a time when you did not exist, nor he, nor all these kings on the battlefield, nor me. We are all eternal. Najayate mriyate va kadachin nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Actually, when you die, only your body dies. You don't die. Krishna is explaining this to Arjuna. So we are absolute. We are a constant existential reality as spirit souls. But this flux of constant illusion around us covers us. And the Bhagavad Gita tells us that if you can practice devotion to Krishna, then you can get free from this illusion. And you can understand your eternal, full constitutional position completely. And you can be eternally happy in eternal existence with no fear of death coming to you all the time. Just imagine. No fear of death at all. That's why it's like something like, I have to go to sleep every day in the night and get up in the morning and a new day starts. My previous day ends. I wish it does not end, it continues, and I have a fun party throughout the night and it goes on and on and on. And that type of truth is available. Yeah, there is no finishing of the day. You exist continuously. There is no punarjanma. Just imagine this is the truth. Krishna is speaking that in Bhagavad Gita. And in the great story of Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj, he is cursed to die, the great grandson of Krishna, Vajranava also, of the same period. They both ruled together, and Parikshit is cursed to die in 7 days by a Brahmana's son called Shringi. And he doesn't know what he should do. So he gives up his whole country, gives up his whole emperorship. He gives up all the wealth, he gives up everything and comes to the bank of the Ganges, wanting to ask all the rishis and sages what I am supposed to do in this situation. What is the best thing to do? And there he meets with many sages, and finally Shukadeva Goswami comes. And he explains to him that nothing wrong, anyway you're going to die one day. This is happening a little earlier. Whatever the situation is, whether you're going to die tomorrow, after 7 days, or at the end of your life, you must spend your time in association with the absolute truth, with Krishna. And you should reach out from the relative to the absolute. You should hear Krishna's pastimes. You should sing his glories. You should chant his holy names. Shnavanti gayanti grananti abhikshashna. Smaranti nandanti tavehitam janaha. He explains to him very plainly right at the beginning only. This is what you must do. You'll become victorious over death. You will conquer death. And you live in eternality. And Parikshit, full 7 days, day and night, hears from Shukadeva Goswami, asking him so many questions about Krishna, about the Supreme Absolute Truth. And Shukadeva Goswami wonderfully pours out nectarian pastimes of the Supreme Lord Krishna. For full 7 days and nights, they don't sleep, they don't drink water, they don't eat. They are so absorbed. They are so absorbed. And then at the end of it, Shukadeva Goswami said, now you are so absorbed, where is the question of death? You won't even know that you died. You are so absorbed in the absolute truth, Krishna, that death will be an insignificant thing that will happen to you. It is not in any way relevant because you are already liberated. In this way, the reality, the absolute truth, is something we all belong to. We are all part and parcel of the absolute truth. Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita, Mamaivamsa jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. You are my part and parcel. You belong to me. And you are eternal, like me. But you are an individual. And because you have this desire to be in the material realm, this situation is given to you. But this is not permanent. What is permanent is that you are a part and parcel of me. So while we are in this world, we should always think about why I am here, who put me here, why there is death, where I should go, what is the meaning of life. These questions should be asked by human beings constantly. Why I have to die? These are important questions. That is why when you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is such a brilliant composition of question and answers and beautiful explanations by Shukadeva Goswami, you will come to understand what is the reality. Why I don't have to suffer in this Dvandva Moha. Why I am always getting tossed and turned between right and wrong and bad and good and black and white and the things of this world. And none of them are true. None of them are actually permanent. So you rise above that. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Asatoma Satkamaya. You will rise above that by practice of the spiritual sadhana of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more we keep in touch with absolute, the form of the Lord, the name of the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord's paraphernalia, the prasadam offered from the Lord, all of these are the nature of absolute. They are not from the relative world. So when we associate with these absolute features, when we worship the form of the Lord, when we eat prasadam offered to the Lord, when we chant the name of the Lord, when we hear about Krishna's pastimes, we are situating ourselves in the absolute. That is why it is very purifying. Whenever you do this, you will find yourself free and light, away from all the problems of this world. You become freed. The more you do it, the more you'll become absorbed in the absolute. The more you become free. Everybody who does this constantly, Krishna is saying that the regularly, constantly, ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nitya abhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. Ananya chinta. So these people who practice this very wonderfully, Ananyas Chintayantoma, they are not thinking about anything else, but thinking only of the Supreme Lord Krishna and worshipping the Lord. Such people, they situate themselves in the permanent. Just like Parikshit Maharaj, by hearing about Krishna from Shukadeva Goswami, became completely absorbed in the permanent, in the absolute truth. So as much as possible, we should do that. And in this age, in Kali Yuga, the same Krishna has come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he has given a simple way for us to be absorbed, chanting the names of Krishna. It's very powerful, very potent. By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and hearing this sound vibration, we will always be absorbed, and the temporary nature of this world will not trouble us. And in this way, gradually, as we get more and more absorbed, we can become completely liberated from the material situation. This is a fact. And Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Bahavo Jnana Tapaso Putam Matpavamagataha. In the past, many great persons understood this, practiced this, and became freed. You should also do that. So this is not a fictitious, mythical story. This is happening. It is happening even now. Those who have faith, those who mix and associate with such persons, who are interested in the absolute truth, they benefit immensely. So we welcome all of you to practice this chanting of the holy name in Harinama Sankirtana, reading the Bhagavad Gita, and every day getting a dose of the absolute truth inside, and endeavoring to become wonderful personalities by taking part in Bhakti Yoga, in devotional service to the Lord. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
An ordinary man finds it very difficult even to spend one sleepless night. And Parikshit Maharaja was a Kshatriya, he was the grandson of Arjuna. He was a man of the world. How was it possible for him to remain sleepless 7 days and nights?
When something exciting in this world happens to people, they are willing to stay awake. Recently, we could not sleep during the New Year and all those times because of some huge musical festival going on. Some big singer, till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night, they were singing and dancing. People were asking, how is it possible for them to do this? Well, it's possible because it's very absorbing. It's something they're passionate about and they're willing to stay awake. A small, crude example. If you have sense gratification, you can remain drunk and you can do this throughout the night. Same way, if something is very absorbing, then a lot of unnatural things can be done. The powerful narration of Shukadeva Goswami, who is a very pure personality, who was a pure devotee, absorbed everybody, especially Parikshit, who was having this curse on his head. And he wanted to get a solution to this because he's the emperor of the world. So many people depend on him. He's very dutiful king, a Raja Rishi, and he has a thing to solve, a real problem to solve. And this Shukadeva Goswami said, don't worry, just do this. And then he started telling him all these wonderful stories. So, true to what Shukadeva Goswami said, the power of Hari Kirtana, the power of absorption in the pastimes of Krishna was demonstrated. And Parikshit became absorbed. In fact, in between, the Devatas came and said, Parikshit, don't worry. That somebody cursed you, don't worry. We have Amrita, a deathless nectar for you. Please take this. Parikshit is known to have said, forget it, don't disturb me. I'm getting a different Amrita here. It's going through my ears. Yat karnanadim geharitim chindanti. It is going through my ears and cutting the hard knot of attachment in the heart, and I'm absorbed in Krishna. He rejected that Amrita. It is Sanjeevani, giving you deathless. We are all Amara, Devatas. Like that, you will also be. He rejected it. So much absorbed he was. And in the end, he became fully absorbed. And Shukadeva Goswami, he got up and left and said, now don't worry. It is animalistic for you to think, I will die, I will die. How can you die? You are spirit soul. You are part and parcel of Krishna. That is the reality. So the power of chanting the holy name, the power of Hari Kirtan is demonstrated. I see many times our devotees also during festivals like Janmashtami, they can do Kirtan for 24 hours. They will be dancing, chanting and chanting throughout the night. When they do Kirtan, they don't allow to stop also. They will keep saying Kirtan, Kirtan and keep dancing and chanting. So the glorification of the Lord has got that spiritual power in Kali Yuga, especially Harinama Sankirtana. So that was possible at that time, in that particular situation and circumstance. But what we need to know is the power of Hari Kirtan. Okay? Yeah. Om Tat Sat. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, we thank His Holiness Bhakti also in order. We welcome individuals to ask their clarification, doubts, if any, and feel free to interact. And we'll also have personal distribution arranged in a couple of minutes. We request volunteers